How to conquer online. The proliferation of social networks on the internet has meant a turning point when it comes to communicating both with people known or family members or lifelong friends and to unknown people that we connect through these services, which has led to some changes in the way of connecting through the internet because in general, contact occurs impersonally, does not always happen in real time and we do not have the interlocutor in front of us to observe their gestures, having less information about the results of the conquest strategy. 1. Create a profile. The majority of applications and services available through which we usually are able to connect through the internet work through a profile, because to use them you need to create an account in them and that profile represents the 0 point by which other people can form an image about us and our personality, therefore we must pay special attention to its preparation. To create an attractive profile is not necessary to fall into eccentricities, in fact, it is best to avoid them as much as possible, use a photo that logically looks good, but where your face can be seen without accessories that cover it such as hats, glasses, etc. The description, if there is a space for it, is very important because it involves a brief summary of our personality and the things we like so that other people who read it can feel identified with our tastes and increase the empathy that induces them to want to meet us in person. Make sure this profile is varied and includes a proportional number of friends with their corresponding interactions because if only contacts of one sex are shown, your intentions will be more easily shown, making the alarms of your possible dates jump. 2. Adding people. The way in which you address your potential victims to add them to your profile and maintain contact with them will depend largely on the medium you use. For example, there are more aggressive social networks in that sense such as Badoo, where people profiles are created mainly to get dates. But other means Facebook style on the contrary, do not necessarily have to be that way because many people use their profiles to contact their relatives and friends but do not use them to date, and that is where you should have greater care and study the profile of the person to design a strategy more disguised or more direct as the case may be. 3. First contact shot. This step on how to connect online is especially dedicated to men because male impatience often leads to imprudence when it comes to contacting potential candidates who sabotage their own results ahead of time, as most of them fall into the typical conventions of "hello pretty, what's your name, what do you do?" etc., which predispose the girl to reject them because they maintain the same attitude that most foolish urges she has rejected before you had. Women are much more subtle in this sense and rarely contact someone without there being an apparent reason, and that is precisely what men should do, wait for the occasion to talk to her or create it, but from an original and creative way, avoiding submitting the girl to a third-grade questionnaire type that surely she will not be willing to respond, especially if you just met and the only thing you will get is that she eliminates you or blocks you. 4. Cause impact. There are thousands of ways to attract the attention of a person and regardless of how you do it, you must try at all costs to divert attention from your goal, connecting through the internet. Let's give a practical example. Instead of using the typical and boring, "Hi, what's your name?" you could try something like, "Did you know that women born in July have a lower risk of suffering from degenerative diseases?" Most women will be surprised at a message like this because it is not the usual way for men to flirt on the internet, and although her response is reduced to a simple question mark devoid of any expressive emoticon, her response implies a prevailing need to know more. To continue on the right path depends only on your imagination and cunning to avoid the obvious. 5. Get a date. If you have managed to go through that first contact, you have many possibilities to get a date, but you should not make the mistake of focusing only on online communication, as many forget that the object of connecting on the internet is to physically meet people, or whatever comes up. Therefore do not wait too long and propose to meet physically, because only then will you know if the result of your work has been successful. Learn how to flirt with women. Click or tap the link on or below this video to download this free ebook.